aviation regulator, DGCA, has asked Go First to submit a revival plan within 30 days, asking airline whether it can fly or not. They're basically looking at Go First's preparedness to go back into skies, a story that we've been discussing here very, very widely, Karthik, and that is whether Go First is coming back anytime soon or not. We had Mark Martin on the panel yesterday, and he said a realistic deadline should be 15th or 16th of June, not the end of this month, which is just around the corner, 4-5 days from now. But a 15th or 16th of June looks realistic for Go First to come up with a strategy to revive itself, gives enough time for DGCA to go on ground to check its preparedness, and maybe that's when we're going to see Go First resuming operations.
So one thing is for certain, we will know 30 days from now, 25th, 26th of June, we will know for sure. That is the outline given by DGCA,
right,
whether Go Air is going to hit the skies anytime soon or not. But the question is, how will it? It still has 50% of its aircraft with faulty engines.
Right.
There has been no breakthrough with Pratt & Whitney. There is why did Go Air, file for voluntary insolvency in the first place? Because it was feeling a financial crunch. It was feeling the heat of a pressure on its own books, due to which it felt best to ground itself voluntarily, right? So if it were to resume operations again, the financial crunch doesn't go. It's not that we've seen any fresh infusion of capital.
No money has come in, absolutely.
Right. There has in fact been a revenue loss since 3rd of May, since the airline was grounded. So it's been a month of revenue loss. Forget profitability for now, but definitely revenue loss. So cash flows have completely dried up for 1 month. There was an existing financial crunch. The faulty engines continue to be faulty. 50% of the fleet continues to be grounded, even if it were to resume operations tomorrow. Right. Can it fly with the balance 50% of the fleet and yet make money? Would that be the endeavor of Go First? It seems fairly unlikely, because if that was the case, it could have just cut down on its routes, taken Pratt & Whitney to the courts rather than filing for its own insolvency, and flown with the 50% serviceable aircrafts and not really self-grounded itself.
Absolutely. What's the road ahead looking like, Rakesh, for Go First at the moment? As Karthik rightly pointed, there is no money that's coming. In fact, the existing sources of revenue have also dried up since it grounded its operations. Are you hoping that the government will step in form of a credit line, will help Go First, sort of prop up its operations at least temporarily before it can come back on its feet?
First of all, I think the DGCA, timeline, one can debate whether it's a realistic timeline or not. What is certain is the DGCA wants to keep many more airlines on the ground. I mean, in that sense, that intention is welcome. But is it a realistic timeline? It's not. Karthik rightly mentioned they don't have the feet on the ground. They might have some of the planes on the ground, but they're incapacitated because they're probably with bad engines or no engines, flying. So in that sense, this timeline, to my mind, will be extended. I think it's just to showcase an intent that we want Go Air to be flying anytime soon. And also to specifically your question whether the government will step in. I think it might nudge the promoter company of Go Air to make some investment, and maybe Government of India does open a line of credit. But the problem with that is that, at one level the government said that we have no business to be in, business, especially, which are like so-called luxury businesses, as airline is seen in, it's a core infrastructure business. So it will be facing a lot of backlash from the society and the opposition party in political domain if it does open a line of credit independent of other airlines. It has just invested and bled, for so long for Air India, and then finally sold it off. Tata's having the muscle to buy. So in the short term, good news that government wants, the regulator wants Go First to fly, but it needs to be armed with the right wherewithal to do so. Government must actually DGCA must, not government directly, nudge. I mean, I haven't seen a high level meeting with Pratt and Whitney. Not just about Go Air. They need to get them on the drawing board and tell them what's happening, because there is a global order book for Pratt and Whitney, and they're struggling with managing it. But there is obviously some discretion there. So that discretion has to be, so to say, viewed and monitored by some agency in India, which is, I think, DGCA is the right thing. Because independent airlines like Indigo also and SpiceJet, everybody's wanting a piece of those engines. So who will decide who will get them first? And there are charges of commercial a violation when it comes to go first and preferential in terms of payments not being made. But since there is a strong intent and an express intent to keep the airline flying, it's time to do some hard negotiations on the table. And as regards the line of credit, I've been surprised all this while that Go First is not a standalone airline company. It is backed by promoters who have other businesses. If they really want to keep it alive, as a for the interim, they'll have to really come up in the front and say that we want to keep it flying. We'll do something exceptional, even if it means tweaking our other businesses and those P&Ls to try and inject some life into Go.